Welcome back, everyone. We're about to take a deep dive into a topic that's become pretty essential to, well, just about everything we do online: search algorithms. Today, we're going to trace the evolution of search from those old school library card catalogs to the sometimes kind of creepy TikTok For You page.
It really is amazing to see how much things have changed, right? I mean,
Yeah.
from card catalogs to TikTok, that's a huge jump.
Huge. And we're going to unpack all of that using a chapter called, get this, From Google to TikTok: How Search Algorithms Reshape the Way We Acquire Information.
Catchy title.
Right. So get ready to uncover the journey from Dewey Decimal to, well, basically the age of like everything personalized online, like searches, voice assistants, even those recommendations that just seem to know what you want before you even do. But before we get lost in the digital world, want to take a quick trip back in time with me?
Sure.
Imagine, if you will, a giant library, pre-internet, of course, and you're trying to find one specific book. Thousands, maybe millions of books. How would you even start?
Hmm. Well, back then, you'd have to rely on those library classification systems. The Dewey Decimal System, for example.
Oh, yeah. Dewey Decimal rings a bell.
It's kind of like an early search algorithm, if you think about it.
No, I see what you mean.
It organizes books into categories and subcategories. It's basically a roadmap through all those stacks.
So like a pre-digital search engine, kind of guiding you to the info you needed.
Exactly. But then along comes the internet and the World Wide Web, and suddenly we've got access to, well, like a universe of information. But the thing is, there wasn't that same library structure anymore.
It's like being dropped into that same library, but with all the lights off.
Uh-huh. Yeah, kind of.
So in those early days of the internet, how did people even find anything?
Well, at first you needed to know the exact website address. Not very user-friendly, right?
Nope, not at all.
That's where web directories like Yahoo stepped in.
Mhm.
They tried to manually categorize websites, basically creating a digital version of that card catalog.
So Yahoo was like playing internet librarian,
Yeah.
Mm.
You could say that
trying to keep everything organized.
exactly. But then the web just exploded. I mean, grew exponentially,
Yeah.
manually cataloging everything. Forget it. Not going to happen. It just became impossible.
Enter the automated search engines, right?
All right. Alta Vista, that was a big one. They used web crawlers to index pages automatically. And they introduced Boolean logic, which made searching way more efficient.
Oh, yeah, Boolean, that takes me back. Things were definitely looking up. But then, 1998, Google shows up with this game changer of an algorithm called PageRank. What was it about PageRank that was so revolutionary?
You know, it's really interesting because PageRank actually mirrors how we evaluate importance in, say, the academic world.
Okay, now I'm intrigued.
Think about it. A research paper gains credibility when other, reputable publications cite it.
Right, like a stamp of approval.
Exactly. And PageRank applied that same logic to the web.
I see. So instead of citations, Google looked at links between web pages as those votes of confidence.
That's it. So a web page's importance, or PageRank, is all about how many other important pages link to it. More high-quality links equals higher PageRank, which equals higher ranking in the search results.
Like a popularity contest, where the coolest pages end up on top.
Pretty much. But PageRank was just one piece of the puzzle. There were, and still are, a lot of factors at play.
So it wasn't just about links.
Oh no, PageRank was groundbreaking, absolutely, but Google's overall ranking algorithm is way more complex. It takes into account keyword relevance, how often a website is updated, even where the person searching is located. All that goes into determining the order of those search results.
Whoa, so much data. I never realized just how much is going on behind the scenes when you type something into that little Google search box. It's amazing.
Yeah, it really is. And this level of complexity was needed because Google completely changed the way we interact with information online.
How?
Well, before, we were browsing through multiple directories, but with Google, we could just go to one place, type something into that search box, and bam, instant results, the most relevant ones. At least that was the goal.
It was like having your own personal librarian who could just sift through mountains of information in an instant.
Super fast librarian, yeah.
But as the internet kept growing, well, there was a need for even more sophisticated techniques.
Right, because one of the biggest challenges became how to deal with the fact that, well, the same word, the same search term, could mean totally different things to different people. That's how we got personalized search.
And that's where things start to get really interesting. Now, Google's not just looking at the search term, it's also factoring in who you are, what you like, all that to tailor the results.
Exactly. So think about it. If, say, Alice, who's a biologist, searches for Python, she's probably interested in snakes. But Bob, who's a programmer, searches for the same thing, He probably wants info about the Python programming language.
Ah, okay, that makes sense. So personalized search is trying to figure out what you really mean.
And it can do that by taking into account your past searches, your location, even your browsing history. Google's basically building a profile for each user to give them a more customized experience.
So convenient. But doesn't that raise some, like, privacy concerns? I mean, how much is Google tracking?
You know, it's a valid concern. Personalized search, while super useful, it does have the potential to create those filter bubbles, where you're only exposed to information that kind of reinforces your existing beliefs.
So we might love the convenience and the super relevant results, but at the same time, we might be missing out on other perspectives, other viewpoints that could challenge our thinking, right?
Absolutely. It's something to be aware of for sure.
But even with personalization, relying solely on keywords had its limitations, didn't it?
Yeah, I mean, just matching keywords to web pages, it just wasn't enough. Search needed to understand the actual meaning, the intent behind our searches. And that's how we got semantic search.
Semantic search. Okay, so we're moving beyond just those basic word matches. Now the search engine's trying to understand what we mean, even if we're not using the perfect keywords. Is that right?
Exactly. Imagine you search for, let's say, how to tie shoelaces.
Mm-hmm.
A traditional search engine, it might just return any page with those words anywhere on it. But a semantic search engine, it understands that you're probably looking for a tutorial, maybe a step-by-step guide, maybe even a video.
Oh, that makes so much more sense. So semantic search is like having a conversation with the search engine.
Yes.
It's like it's trying to figure out what you really need.
That's it. And Google's Hummingbird algorithm, which came out in like 2013, that was a big step for semantic search. Hummingbird was designed to understand whole phrases, not just individual keywords. It could recognize synonyms, figure out the context of your search, and it could even answer complex questions.
So like if I search for the tallest mountain in the world, Hummingbird wouldn't just look for pages with those words. It would understand I'm asking about Mount Everest.
Yeah.
Pretty smart.
It is. And that ability to understand complex queries, it's especially important for those, what we call long tail searches. When you're looking for something really specific, like best gluten-free bakeries in San Francisco, or how to replace a bicycle tire.
Okay, wow, search has come a long way, that's for sure. But the story doesn't end there, does it? I mean, with smartphones and smart speakers and all that, we've got voice search now.
Oh yeah, voice search, a whole new ball game.
Totally. But I bet it presented some challenges for the algorithms too, right? Instead of those nice, neat keywords, people are just like talking to their devices.
Oh, for sure. It was a big shift. And it required some pretty major advancements in natural language processing, artificial intelligence, all that. I mean, first, the algorithms had to learn how to understand like actual spoken language, which is full of all sorts of, complex phrases and informal stuff and just the way people talk.
Right, like all those ums and ahs and just natural pauses and things. And what about background noise? I mean, the algorithm has to figure out what you're saying even with all that going on.
Exactly. It's not an easy task.
Yeah.
But then there's the way people phrase things. Like if I ask my smart speaker, what's the weather like in Paris tomorrow? It needs to understand I'm not asking about right now, I'm asking about the future.
The forecast, yeah.
Right. And needs to know that Paris is the location and tomorrow is the time. And then it has to pull all that relevant weather data and, process it and give me a response that sounds, well, human.
Wow. It's amazing how much is happening behind the scenes with voice search.
And, it's not just about understanding the question. Voice search also changed the way results are delivered. Instead of those long lists of links, we now expect, spoken answers, direct answers, as quickly as possible. That's why we have things like featured snippets, those little boxes at the top of the results page that just give you the answer you're looking for without having to click on anything.
So efficient. Okay, so we've covered libraries, we've covered Google, voice assistants, but there's this whole other universe of information, right? And it doesn't even require us to actively search for anything. I'm talking about social media.
Oh yeah, social media. That's where things get really interesting.
Because on social media, the information just kind of comes to us. We're not really searching. We're more like discovering.
Discovering, yeah. And that's all thanks to recommendation algorithms, of course. Like on TikTok, for example, there's the For You algorithm. It's constantly learning about you based on what you do, like what videos you watch, the ones you like, the ones you share, even how long you watch something. All that goes into it. And then it uses all that data to create a personalized feed of content that it thinks you'll enjoy, even if you haven't explicitly searched for anything like it.
It's like having a friend who knows your tastes so well. They're always recommending the perfect videos before you even know you want to see them.
Haha, that's a great way to put it.
But isn't that a little, I don't know, maybe even a little scary? Like, how well does TikTok really know me?
Well, it's definitely something to think about
Hmm.
because, those recommendation systems, they can be incredibly engaging, but there's always the risk of ending up in an echo chamber,
Hmm.
you know, where you're only exposed to content that reinforces your existing beliefs.
Right. So they might be great at predicting what you'll enjoy, but they might also be limiting your exposure to different viewpoints, different ideas.
Exactly. It's a double-edged sword. That's why those platforms are constantly tweaking their algorithms, trying to find the balance between, personalization and diversity.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground in this first part of our deep dive.
From Dewey Decimal to personalized search, voice assistants, those recommendation algorithms, wow, search has really come a long way.
It's fascinating.
Yeah, it really is. And this journey is far from over.
Oh, I can't wait to hear what comes next.
We'll get to that, but first, let's take a moment to, digest everything we've talked about so far.
Sounds good. It's been a lot of information, that's for sure.
Definitely. But, it's all connected. Each advancement is built upon the last, all driven by our very human desire to access and understand the world around us.
It's a reminder that, well, that search is more than just finding information. It's about so much more than that.
You got it. And that's what we're going to keep exploring in the rest of our deep dive. So as we've seen, search has, it's evolved dramatically. But the really exciting part is that, this evolution, it's not over.
Oh, I'm all ears. What's coming next? What has you, like, really excited about the future of search?
Okay, so just imagine being able to point your phone at, anything, any object, and instantly getting information about it.
Whoa, hold on. Like, are we talking augmented reality here?
We are. Augmented reality search, it's already happening, with things like Google Lens.
Oh, yeah, Google Lens. Okay, so instead of, like, typing best sushi near me into my phone, I could just point it at a restaurant and see what, like, reviews, menus, maybe even get directions.
Exactly. AR search has the potential to, really blend information seamlessly into our lives, make it, instantly accessible. And it's not just restaurants. Imagine pointing your phone at a landmark, a building, and boom, you learn its history. Or at a plant, a flower, and you instantly know what species it is.
Like a walking encyclopedia right in my pocket.
That's the idea.
Okay, AR sounds amazing, but I've also heard about, like, even more futuristic stuff, like searching with our minds. Is that even possible?
It might sound like sci-fi, but brain-computer interfaces,
Mm.
they're a real thing, and they're developing fast. Companies like Neuralink, they're working on tech that could allow us to, control devices with our thoughts.
Oh, wait, so instead of typing or even speaking a search query, I could just, like, think about what I want to find and the search engine would get it. I mean, that's mind-blowing, but also a little creepy, right? Like, how much privacy would we be giving up?
It's a valid point. The ethical implications of brain-computer interfaces, yeah, they're definitely something we need to think about carefully. But for now, let's switch gears a bit. Let's talk about another game changer. Quantum computing.
Quantum computing, okay. Now we're getting really futuristic. I'll admit, I don't really understand how they work or what they could mean for search, to be honest.
It's a complex topic, yeah.
Okay.
But essentially, quantum computers, they use the principles of quantum mechanics to perform calculations in ways that are impossible for traditional computers. And that has the potential to revolutionize a lot of fields, search included.
So it's not just about making searches faster. Quantum computing could actually change, like, fundamentally change how we search and what we can find.
Exactly. Quantum computers could analyze, massive amounts of data. I'm talking huge amounts, way faster than we can even imagine. And that means, we could do more complex searches, more nuanced searches. We can even tackle problems that are, they're just beyond the reach of classical computers right now, like really understanding natural language or simulating complex systems, things like that.
So, like, a whole new dimension of knowledge and understanding.
They got it.
But with all this incredible technology, I mean, will we even need search skills anymore? If AI can do all the work, what's the point of us even learning how to search?
That's a great question. And, even though AI is getting really, really sophisticated, human skills, they're still essential. In fact, they might become even more important as we navigate all this, all this information, which just keeps growing and growing.
So it's not about AI replacing human intelligence. It's about finding ways for them to, like, work together.
Right. Exactly. The ability to ask the right questions, to really evaluate information critically, to synthesize knowledge from multiple sources, all those things are going to be even more valuable in a world where information is, well, it's everywhere, but it's not always reliable.
It's like we need to develop those information superpowers.
Wow.
Being able to cut through the noise, separate fact from fiction, all that.
I love that, information superpowers. And, as AI becomes more integrated into our lives, it's going to be so important to understand how these systems work, how these algorithms work. We need to know their limitations, their potential biases, and of course, the ethical implications.
Right, because it's not just about using the tools, it's about understanding how those tools shape our perception of the world, how they shape how we interact with information, all of that.
Absolutely. The future of search, it really depends on finding that balance between human intelligence and artificial intelligence. We need both working together if we want to unlock the full potential of information and knowledge.
It's a journey we're all on together. It's pretty amazing to think how far we've come from, those early days of the Dewey Decimal System.
From card catalogs to, who knows, maybe even thought-powered search someday.
I know, it's mind-blowing. But for now, let's take a step back. Let's recap what we've learned so far in our deep dive.
Good idea. We've covered a lot.
We've gone deep into the mechanics of search algorithms, everything from basic keyword matching to those complex semantic searches, how voice interaction works, all that.
And we've talked about how powerful personalization and recommendation systems can be, but also how important it is to be aware of, potential biases and to always be critical of the information we're getting.
Right, because these search engines, they're powerful tools for sure, but at the end of the day, they're just tools. The real power lies in our ability to use them effectively, to understand their limitations, and to, really think about the information they're giving us.
Exactly. And those are the skills we need to be focusing on, becoming discerning consumers of information, really engaging with it, evaluating it, not just passively absorbing whatever comes our way.
It's a call to action, I think, to be active participants in shaping our own understanding of the world.
I like that. And, it's a journey of discovery. And as we've seen today, that journey, it can lead to some incredible places. So stay curious, keep exploring, and never stop questioning.
Wow, what a journey. I mean, from the Dewey Decimal System to the edge of quantum computing and brain-computer interfaces, that's incredible.
It really is amazing, isn't it? I mean, it just shows you how far we've come and how much we crave, understanding the world around us.
And it really highlights that search. Well, it's about so much more than just finding information, right?
Yeah, oh, absolutely. It's about expanding what we know, challenging our perspectives, trying to make sense of the world and all its complexities.
Right, because in this day and age, information, it's everywhere, right?
It is. It really is. And just finding it, that's not enough anymore.
No, definitely not. You have to be able to look at it critically.
You got it. You have to be able to separate fact from fiction. You have to figure out how to put it all together, into something that makes sense.
Yeah, it's like having all the pieces of a puzzle.
That's a great way to put it.
But not knowing how to, actually put them together.
Exactly. And figuring out how to do that, that's what we need to focus on now, especially as we navigate all this information, which, let's face it, it's not going to get any less complicated.
Okay, so it's not just about mastering search engines. It's about getting those critical thinking skills sharpened up.
Exactly. Being able to, to evaluate information, to spot biases, and to understand the limitations of the tools we're using, all that.
Because at the end of the day, they're just tools, right?
They are. The power is really in our hands. Our ability to use them well, responsibly, to think for ourselves.
It's about finding that sweet spot, I guess, where AI can help us find things, but we don't just blindly accept everything it gives us.
Right. We have to make sense of it all, draw our own conclusions, think critically.
And I guess that's where the true magic of search lies.
I think so. It's about, sparking that curiosity, pushing us to explore new ideas.
It's about those, those light bulb moments, those aha moments.
That were the best.
Where you challenge what you thought you knew.
Yeah. And you keep searching for, new perspectives, new ways of seeing things.
So it's a process, a journey, always evolving, always changing.
That's it. So as you continue your own exploration, your own journey, just remember that search. It's more than just a tool.
It's a way of interacting with the world, isn't it?
Yes. And as we've seen today, that journey, it can take you to some pretty incredible places.
So true. Okay, well, I think that just about wraps up our deep dive into the world of search algorithms.
I think it does.
It's been quite a ride. From card catalogs to, who knows, maybe someday thinking our searches. Pretty wild.
Right.
Well, we hope you enjoyed it and that you learned a thing or two along the way.
We hope so, too.
Until next time, keep searching, keep learning, and most importantly, keep diving deep.